Society. We have had an honorary president since the early 1990s when John Pertwee was overwhelmingly elected by the members. And John served 2 terms, and then following his death, Nicholas Courtney, as I'm sure many people knew Nick so well, took over in 1997. And Nick was delighted to be president, and he was also a bit surprised as well. But he was a lovely guy. I'm sure many of you who met him will know that. The time has come to appoint another, following Nick's very sad death earlier this year. And in deciding who to approach, we've recently held a survey via our website, and I'm sure lots of you here may well have voted. Did you?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. Well, I can tell you that the person who came top of the survey got more votes than everybody else put together. This person polled 53% of the votes in the survey, and we approached him, and he has very kindly accepted the post. So I hope you will please give a very warm welcome to the new honorary president of the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, Mr. Colin Baker.
They told me I only had 5 minutes, that's reduced it to 4. Well, I'm struggling with words I'm not used to uttering, like humble and embarrassed, and I am truly delighted. I'll tell you why, because I knew my 2 predecessors in this post, one much better than the other. I knew John Pertwee slightly, from conventions and from doing one of those strange Bill Baggs films with him. At the end of doing that, he and I decided we were desperate to work for each other again, because we got on extremely well. And sadly that was never to happen, because we lost him soon after. And the best and nicest person in the world I've ever met in the world of Doctor Who was Nicholas Courtney, who genuinely, I never heard say an unpleasant word about anybody. I'm sure he'd have found excuses for Saddam Hussein and Hitler, and oh well, he must have had a very bad upbringing. He was such a gent that to step into his shoes, because I'm not like that. I say bad words about everyone. Usually on Twitter. I see some Twitter buddies dotted about in here today. Yes, it really is me. If any of you I do tweet. The only Doctor Who tweets. Maybe that's why I was chosen. I don't know how to preside. I've chaired things and I've never presided. I think it means you all have to grovel whenever I come into a room. That appeals, rather. Yeah, I quite fancy that. Will you do some grovelling? Lovely. But I'm honoured. DWAS, you know, Doctor Who Appreciation Society, and you've chosen me to be your president. For once, you've found me slightly speechless, abashed, humbled, and very, very grateful. Thank you very much.
Some of you may remember in 1997 a panopticon in Coventry, I think it was, where most panopticons were. We gave Nicholas Courtney a seal of office. I don't know if anyone remembers that. Well, I'm pleased to tell you, yes, that seal of office, which was made exclusively for Nick, is going to be auctioned off for charity at a fundraiser in the spring, which Nick's biographer and a very good friend Michael McManus is organising. Colin, we haven't had time to make you a seal of office, but I'm going to hand over to my colleague Tony Jordan, who has got something for you.
You probably won't remember this, Colin, but it's 25 years ago this coming Wednesday, on the second and final day of Panopticon 7 at Imperial College, that I had the pleasure. The good news is that on-pres is a terrible liar. That is a good prerequisite. We certainly was that.
I remembered it as if it was 25 years ago.
The reason I'm saying it, Colin, is because you may remember I had the pleasure of presenting you on stage with a cheque for £1,500 that the DWAS has raised for cot death at that time. So it gives me great pleasure to present you today with this memento of your appointment as Honorary President, and long may you reign, sir.
Wanted a personal memento of this day, for example, a signed photograph as you as a doctor, do you have any idea how I might go about getting one?
I will happily, for nothing, sign your own stuff if there's a suitable time, and I do have some photographs with me. Should you wish to purchase them, but there's no necessity to do so. There's one other thing I'd like to tell you. Last week, stop press this. Last week I was asked if I would like to take part in a multi-doctor special on television in the year 2013. Sadly, I was asked by a Doctor Who fan. If at any point I'm asked by the BBC, I promise to let you know.
Just under an hour. We've got the other two parts of Day of the Daleks, followed by a panel with Scott Fredericks, Richard Franklin, and the adorable Katie Manning will all be here. And meanwhile, the bar is open.